Reese Witherspoon attempted to caution Blake Lively 15 years ago. And if you believe I'm lying, watch this clip, which surfaced around the time rumors about Blake and Ben Affleck's relationship were at their peak.
You made a mistake, you were embarrassed, and you hid it under your bed. And, like, if you took naked pictures of yourself on your cell phone, you hide your face, people. Like, hide your face.
Now, to understand the background behind this statement, let's go back to 2010 when Blake Lively was part of the film The Town alongside Ben Affleck here. At that time, Ben was married to Jennifer Garner and Blake was in a relationship with Penn Badge. What I want y'all to know is that both of them were in committed relationship when they started working together on The Town. But still, as these online theories suggest, the professional boundaries disappeared the moment they began work.
So Penn and Blake began dating in 2007. And in August of 2009, Blake and Ben Affleck started filming The Town. And this was around the time that Ben Affleck was married to Jennifer Garner. And then we have this big naughty photo scandal where these photos hit the internet. They were published on Perez Hilton, but the naughty photos were allegedly sent to Ben.
To make sure she kept Ben Affleck's attention during filming, she reportedly took pictures of herself on her phone and sent them directly to him. Now, I can't show those pictures here, but they are said to be just one Google search away. And yeah, I know this kind of thing is often talked about in Hollywood, and it's not exactly unusual in that industry. But many people started noticing that Blake Lively has been linked with different kinds of situations involving already committed relationships. She is now married to Ryan Reynolds, who at the beginning of their relationship was still connected to Scarlett Johansson. I mean, do you think this is just a one-time coincidence? Because online discussions often point to different moments from her past. Some people believe there's a repeating pattern, while others completely disagree. I'm not saying she prefers these situations, but there are theories online that suggest she often gravitates toward high-profile relationships and Hollywood power couples.
Nerve-wracking. It's your first day on set. You're doing your characters. It's there to tell a key part of the story in their relationship. And I was nervous the night before, and I remember talking to Jeremy. And so I thought, I don't know what's going to happen. And he said, it's just all in the eyes. That was it.
That's all I ended up in the scene.
When those pictures allegedly linked to Ben Affleck started circulating online, everyone began asking the same question: how did they get out? At first, many people assumed it was a hack or some kind of privacy breach, which is usually what happens in these situations. But in online discussions, different theories started to appear, with some claiming it may not have been a typical leak at all. According to those conversations, there were suggestions that the situation may have been handled differently behind the scenes, which only fueled more speculation. The media attention around it grew quickly, and suddenly it became one of those stories everyone was talking about. Some people even compared the situation to other celebrity moments where controversy led to sudden publicity boosts, although others strongly disagree with that idea. Around the same time, her personal relationship with Penn Badgley also faced pressure, and eventually they went their separate ways. Whether all of these events are connected or just coincidence is something that people still debate online, with no clear agreement on what actually happened.
People, though, like Blake Lively, I heard, sort of didn't understand.
Blake, yes, is not 40. Blake is 21 or whatever she is, 22. She's a fabulous, as you can see, she's a gorgeous young.
Garner had to deal with a very public and emotional situation that became widely discussed in the media at the time. Around that period, Reese Witherspoon also made a remark during an award show acceptance speech that later resurfaced online and sparked renewed discussion. While accepting her award, she made a comment about taking pictures on phones and keeping things private, which some viewers connected to ongoing Hollywood conversations at the time. Because of the timing, people online started debating what she may or may not have been referring to, even though she never directly named anyone. The moment was widely shared and interpreted in different ways across social media, with some saying it was a general statement about privacy, while others believed it had a deeper context based on industry rumors. What made it even more viral was how calm and composed the delivery was, which led to even more speculation rather than shutting it down. And just when people thought the discussion had died down, resurfaced TikTok video involving Jennifer Garner during the filming of Deadpool and Wolverine brought the topic back into online conversations again.
This is where I go to commune with Blake Lively. See how she's doing. How you doing, Blake? You're looking good.
In a recently resurfaced video, Jennifer Garner is seen joking around while interacting with a statue, where she playfully says she goes there to check in on Blake Lively and asks how she is doing, adding a lighthearted tone to the moment. She then continues the playful interaction, which many viewers online have rewatched and shared across social media platforms. What drew extra attention was the caption she included with the post, which some users interpreted in different ways depending on the context they believed was behind it. Online discussions quickly began connecting the video to past Hollywood rumors and public narratives involving several celebrities, even though no direct explanation was given. Some viewers saw it as nothing more than a humorous and creative clip, while others believed there could be a deeper meaning based on ongoing internet theories and past media coverage. The conversation grew further when people started analyzing the symbolism in the video, especially references that some linked to Marvel characters and storytelling themes, although these interpretations remain speculative. Over time, the clip gained traction again as users debated its intent, showing how older celebrity moments often resurface and take on new meanings in the age of social media. As with many viral posts, different audiences walked away with completely different understandings of what was being expressed, keeping the discussion alive across platforms.
I think back to going through a very public, very hard moment in my life. This one was right there, and the way I needed to get through it was dance cardio. And I danced cardio so hard we broke her foot, but she kept going.
Online discussions often describe Reese Witherspoon as someone who shows up strongly for people in her circle. Instead of just sending a message of sympathy, some stories shared by fans claim she prefers to be present in person when someone is going through a difficult time. One example often mentioned is a workout session with Jennifer, which people online say was so intense that it even led to an accidental injury during training. Supporters of Reese use this story to highlight her energetic and committed personality when helping friends through emotional moments. In another widely shared online narrative, people also talk about her reaching out to Robert Pattinson during a tough public situation in his life, with claims that she offered him a quiet place to stay at her property in California. These moments are often discussed as examples of loyalty and support within Hollywood friendships.
We know Robert Pattinson is obviously feeling a little bit blue these days since he learned about Kristen Stewart's affair with Rupert Sanders. There's been reports that Rob has been in both LA and London, but according to a news story in Us Weekly, he's been leaning on his close pal Reese Witherspoon, staying at her ranch in Ojai, California.
Many fans often describe Reese Witherspoon as someone who strongly supports the people she works with and cares about. Over the years, she has built a reputation for being outspoken and attentive to behavior she finds unprofessional in the entertainment industry. During Blake Lively's press appearances, online viewers noticed moments that sparked discussion on social media, with some saying her interactions with journalists seemed tense or distant, although others disagreed and saw it differently. These observations became part of broader internet conversations about Hollywood personalities and how they present themselves in public. Around the same time, Reese was also involved in her own projects, including The Morning Show, a series that often explores power dynamics and workplace tension in the media industry. In one scene from Season 3, a character makes a darkly humorous comment about corporate leadership, which viewers online began discussing in relation to real-world industry behavior, even though the show itself is fictional.
Rats in a basement, that should be more comfortable.
To a normal viewer watching the show, it likely just comes across as another line in a corporate drama filled with satire and dark humor about workplace power dynamics. On the surface, it sounds like a simple joke about leadership and control, something that fits naturally within a series built around media industry tension. However, online audiences often take moments like this and connect them to wider conversations happening around Hollywood at the time, especially when real-life controversies are already being discussed across social media. As a result, certain scenes begin to take on different interpretations depending on the viewer's perspective, even when no direct reference is ever made. At the same time, The Morning Show has always been known for exploring themes like authority, reputation, and influence inside powerful organizations, which is why viewers sometimes draw parallels between fiction and reality. Over time, these discussions spread across platforms, with people debating whether art reflects life or if audiences are simply projecting their own theories onto the content. Meanwhile, cast members like Reese Witherspoon continue working on projects that focus on strong character dynamics and industry pressure, which naturally keeps attention on the show itself. Ultimately, different audiences interpret the same scene in very different ways, and those interpretations often evolve as online conversations grow and older moments resurface in new contexts.
I don't get depressed or sad, I get angry.
This is where the conversation starts to shift from personal opinions into a broader discussion about Hollywood business and competition, and honestly, it becomes interesting when you look at how different celebrities build their brands. Reese Witherspoon has created something highly successful with Hello Sunshine, a production company known for adapting popular books into films and series. Over time, it has become associated with curated storytelling, working closely with writers and producers, and focusing on content that already has a strong audience appeal. It represents a long-term approach to building influence in the entertainment industry, something that takes years of consistent work and industry experience. On the other hand, Blake Lively has also stepped into the production space, like many modern actors who want more creative control over their projects and careers. She launched her own company, which has been discussed online for its branding choices and positioning within Hollywood's competitive environment. In an industry where many celebrities are now starting their own production labels, comparisons between different companies are almost inevitable, especially when names or concepts feel similar to existing brands. Some online discussions have pointed out similarities in branding trends across Hollywood, while others argue that this is simply part of a larger pattern where creators draw inspiration from what already exists in the industry. At the same time, the entertainment business has seen a major rise in celebrity-led beauty and lifestyle brands, with figures like Rihanna and Millie Bobby Brown successfully launching their own ventures. Blake Lively has also entered the space with her own hair care line, which reflects a growing trend of actors expanding beyond film into consumer products. These types of businesses are now extremely common in Hollywood, where personal branding plays a major role in career development. In many cases, names, aesthetics, and marketing strategies are designed to be memorable and aligned with the creator's public identity. This is not unusual in the industry, as branding often relies on familiarity and audience recognition to succeed. However, online audiences frequently debate these choices, especially when similarities between names or concepts appear across different celebrity ventures. Some viewers see it as strategic branding, while others interpret it as overlap in an increasingly crowded market. Ultimately, what stands out is how modern Hollywood careers are no longer limited to acting alone, but instead involve building entire business ecosystems around personal influence, creativity, and market demand. And in that space, every new launch inevitably gets compared, analyzed, and discussed across social media, whether the intent is competition or simply expansion into new opportunities.
For years in Hollywood, I watched the abuse of power.
Oh, yeah.
And power corrupting. And also people assuming power when they hadn't really done the work to have the power.
All right, so this is where the conversation becomes even more interesting because beyond the discussions about production companies and Hollywood competition, there has also been a lot of online speculation about major industry opportunities and who might be involved behind the scenes. One of the biggest talking points recently has been Taylor Swift and the possibility of her stepping into directing her own feature film. As one of the most influential global artists right now, any move she makes into filmmaking immediately attracts attention from across Hollywood. Producers, studios, and creatives all see it as a major opportunity because being connected to a project like that could have a huge impact on their careers. Reese Witherspoon is often mentioned in these discussions because of her strong track record with Hello Sunshine and her reputation for adapting stories and working closely with authors and creators. Many people online believe she would be a natural fit for a project led by someone like Taylor Swift due to her experience in storytelling-driven production. At the same time, social media conversations also bring up other names in the industry, including Blake Lively, especially in relation to how actors transition into producing and directing roles. These discussions usually compare experience levels, past work, and how different celebrities are building their careers beyond acting. Some people point out that breaking into directing or producing at a high level is extremely competitive, and most successful transitions in Hollywood take years of smaller projects and experience building before reaching major studio-level work. Others argue that modern Hollywood is changing, and opportunities are often influenced by relationships, timing, and existing collaborations. As a result, online audiences tend to analyze every connection and past collaboration, sometimes reading deeper meaning into industry movements than what is officially confirmed. Ultimately, what stands out is how highly competitive and interconnected the entertainment industry has become, especially when major artists begin exploring new creative roles. Every potential project becomes a topic of discussion, speculation, and debate across social media, where fans and commentators try to piece together who might be involved and what direction these collaborations might take.
Started to grow such a disliking for Blake Lively. Right at the moment, she was launching Blake Brown. And it's really very likely that the brand's lukewarm performance so far is a result of her declining reputation and likability.
Now, here's where discussions around It Ends With Us became even more intense online. The film was originally developed by Justin Baldoni, who was heavily involved in its early stages as director, producer, and lead actor. He had worked on acquiring the rights, shaping the adaptation, and putting together the production from the ground up. However, once the casting process brought in major Hollywood names, the dynamic of the project became a major topic of public conversation. When Blake Lively joined the film as a lead actor, online discussions began speculating about changes in creative direction and behind-the-scenes influence during production. Some viewers believed that high-profile actors often bring additional creative input to projects, especially when they are also experienced in producing, while others argued that the director's original vision remains central in any film production. Around the same time, social media also began connecting various industry narratives involving Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, often focusing on how celebrity couples navigate working environments in Hollywood. In many cases, public attention tends to amplify even small production details into larger theories, especially when major stars are involved. Reports and fan discussions also mentioned frequent on-set visits and close involvement from collaborators, which is not unusual in large-scale productions where multiple stakeholders are present. Ultimately, what stood out most was how quickly the film became part of wider internet debate, with audiences analyzing every detail of its production and interpreting it through different perspectives, even when official sources did not confirm many of the claims circulating online.
Wrested his movie away from him and decided to try to hurt him with petty, made-up, out-of-context complaints.
The situation around It Ends With Us became one of the most widely discussed topics in online entertainment spaces, especially as different accounts, opinions, and interpretations of what happened during production began circulating across social media. The film was originally developed by Justin Baldoni, who was deeply involved in its early creation as a director, producer, and lead actor, and who had worked on acquiring the rights and shaping the adaptation from the beginning. As the project moved into full production, major Hollywood names joined the cast, and with that came increased attention, speculation, and public interest in how the creative process was being handled behind the scenes. When Blake Lively came on board as a lead actor, online discussions began focusing on the dynamics of production, with some viewers suggesting that high-profile actors often contribute additional creative input in modern filmmaking, while others emphasize that the director's vision typically remains central to the process.
Decided that they were going to invite Justin Baldoni over for what seems to me like an ambush.
Over time, different narratives began to circulate online about the level of influence various individuals had during production, although many of these claims remain unverified and are part of broader internet debate rather than confirmed fact. At the same time, reports and social media commentary also highlighted the presence of Ryan Reynolds around the production environment, which some interpreted as normal industry support, while others speculated more deeply based on fragmented information shared online. As conversations continued, attention shifted toward how creative decisions are made in large studio films, where multiple stakeholders, executives, and creative teams often collaborate and sometimes disagree on direction, edits, and marketing strategies. This is a common part of filmmaking, especially in high-budget productions where both artistic vision and studio expectations must align. In many cases, when disagreements or restructuring happen, they become amplified online and interpreted in very different ways depending on the audience's perspective. The film's premiere and promotional events also became a subject of online discussion, with viewers analyzing public appearances, media coverage, and social media behavior from different cast members. As with many high-profile projects, every detail was closely observed and debated, often leading to contrasting interpretations of the same events. Some audiences saw standard industry logistics and promotional structuring, while others believed there were deeper tensions behind the scenes, although no unified or officially confirmed version of events has been established publicly. What became most noticeable was how quickly the narrative around the film expanded beyond just the movie itself and turned into a wider conversation about Hollywood power, branding, and influence. In that context, comparisons were also drawn between different industry figures and their approaches to building careers in entertainment. Reese Witherspoon, for example, is often discussed for her long-standing work in production through Hello Sunshine, which is focused on adapting books and building story-driven projects over many years. Her career is frequently cited in conversations about long-term industry growth and structured creative development. Meanwhile, other Hollywood figures are also examined through the lens of modern celebrity branding, where actors increasingly expand into producing, entrepreneurship, and content ownership. These comparisons often reflect broader discussions about how success is defined in today's entertainment industry, where perception, branding, and creative control all play a role. Ultimately, what stands out in conversations like these is how quickly audience interpretation can shape narratives around films and public figures, especially when multiple viewpoints, rumors, and social media reactions blend together. And in that space, it becomes less about one single version of events and more about how different audiences choose to understand and interpret the same story from completely different angles.